Peace to all the divine primordial deities. Now, this video is for entertainment purposes only. Now, I hope y'all got y'all life jackets because I am about to get deep. This is solely for the guys, so if you are not privy to this information, just keep it scrolling. Now, the Christian faith and their salvation is solely based off of the resurrection of Christ. Now, what if I told you Christ has not rose yet? And what if I told you everything that they're teaching in the churches today is in vain? Let's get into it. The Bible is a book of astrology, metaphysics, and esoteric knowledge of the human brain and body. You are the original blueprint of God, and the story of Christ comes from you. What the others did, and I'm going to call them the others, and be careful with how I talk. The others took a lot of our ancient knowledge and broke it up into fragments of the human brain and body and turned them into literal stories. And they are teaching this to the world as if this Christ actually existed, when in actuality, that Christ never existed. You existed because you are the true living Christ. And the true Christ is being fulfilled through you. Now in John 2:19, Christ says, I will destroy this man-made temple, and in 3 days I will build another that is made without hands. 2 Peter chapter 3 verses 8 says, Be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day with the Lord is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is as one day. What you need to understand is it wasn't 3 days that Christ was on the cross. It was technically 3,000 years, because it took that long to reconstruct the third temple from the bottom up, because the third temple is the third eye, and that is the seat of the soul where God dwells. And in order for God to dwell back in that temple, it had to be rebuilt, and it took 3,000 years. So that's why they state in Christ died 2,000 years ago, which means that he has not rose yet, the true Christ. And he's going to rise in 3,000 years. That temple is Solomon's temple that was built in the darkness and in silence with no tools and no hands. What they're talking about is meditation. Because when you go into meditation, you close your eyes and you go into silence. And you enter into your celestial space. And what happens is you cause that Christos to come down the spine. And at that 33 vertebrae, you crucify it. This is all dealing with the cross. And it comes down at 33 vertebrae into the sacrum, which is the sanctuary of God. And what happens is, through meditation, when that Kundalini rise, you cause the Christos, which is the Christ oil, to come back up the spine. What happens is, this oil and this energy, it permeates up through your body. And it is what causes a rewiring of your peripheral nervous system, your central nervous system, your chakras, your pineal, and your brain. This is what you call reconstructing the temple from the bottom up. What's happening is that Kundalini energy, once it becomes awakened, it rises up in your body, and your body starts to move like a snake. And what's happening is it's rewiring your entire system. That's why meditation, which is your medication, is key for building the Solomon's temple. The art of covenant is created in the womb. That's the brain. So the divine feminine, which is the mitochondrial God, she creates the art of covenant. And when the child is inside the womb for 9 months, that's what you call building the art of covenant, because it's the brain. Acts 7:48 states, Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands. God dwells here because God is the soul, which is the soul of man, which is Solomon, and we all are Solomon. That's why the pineal gland is the seat of the soul, because that is the seat of God. And when Solomon is broke down, it just means the soul of man. Solomon had power to command the supernatural. He was able to control the jinns, which jinns just means spirit. And he had the ability to speak to animals. The reason why is because he had a soul. And that soul, which is the 6-point star, that's the sigil, that was the talisman. But what you need to know is the soul is the talisman. And that's why he was able to control the supernatural, because Solomon is God. And that is the soul. Your jinns are none other than your cosmic forces. That's why Solomon was able to control them and why he was so powerful, because the soul of man is God. The hexagram is none other than a geometrical symbol of the soul. Only if the religious folks understood the symbolic writings in that Bible, I think that the world would be a lot different. The carbon beings on this planet are your true Christ. They are the gods on this planet that fell asleep, and in their sleep state, remember, sleep is the sister to death. We was in the grave for a long time, and now we're on the precipice of the second coming of Christ. But remember, Christ is legion. There is many of us. So ask yourself, if the true Christ, which is us, have not rose yet, and we are on the precipice of our resurrection as a nation of gods, as the chosen people, as Israel, the Elohims, the first estate gods. Ask yourself, if the true Christ hasn't rose yet, then that means everything, and I mean everything, that they have been teaching has been a lie, and it has all been in vain.